Joining me today to discuss cybersecurity is Chet Namboodri, who's Vice President of Worldwide Business Development and Partner Alliances with Nozomi Networks. Welcome, Chet.
Thank you, Sid. It's great to be here.
To start off this discussion, could you kind of frame, industrial cybersecurity has a wide range of products and services. So can you kind of just frame where Nozomi Networks fits into that and maybe what's special about you? I'll give you an opportunity to say that.
Absolutely. So, yeah, Nozomi Networks is very special. First off,
I'm sure.
In terms of what we do, it's around detection and intelligence for the industrial premise with regard to cybersecurity. And in fact, as part of the detection, we're including the operational characteristics of industrial processes in what we're observing. So we're able to inspect very deeply the traffic that is going through the OT networks and utilize that to determine what is typical behavior within those networks. And that includes, like I said, the operational characteristics as well as any nefarious activities that may be happening in terms of threats that are coming into the network. And so as part of that, we develop a model. We will alert against anomalies, and that's the core of our solution. In addition to that, and what differentiates Nozomi Networks with regard to the anomaly detection space is that we have what we refer to as hybrid threat detection. So we're able to get enough information around the assets that are on the OT networks to really identify their roles, who they're communicating with, and all of that. And of course, what their typical behaviors are. So that's kind of the anomaly detection. The hybrid piece of it is we use signatures from Yara and from packet rules that are known ICS cert verified threats. And we'll utilize those threat signatures to identify where we see those behaviors as soon as we plug into the network, into a switch or a firewall of the network. Another way we differentiate is scale. So because of the way we've architected the offering from the get-go, we were very fortunate to have an early customer, NL, which required that we provide for a global point of view and the aggregation of multiple plants. In fact, in this case, it was more than 500 power generation facilities for NL. And so that architecting across that global footprint really created what we refer to as our central management console, that it enables that aggregation and the global deployment. And in fact, now NL is spread beyond Italy, Spain, and into South America, into the Americas, North America, and elsewhere, where they're making use of Nozomi Networks across all of those generation facilities, as well as transmission and distribution, and all of that information in terms of the cybersecurity and operational characteristics of those plants is going back to Rome into that central SOC that is also integrated with the IT perspective for NL. So that brings up the final differentiation, which is we've really taken the perspective of integrating between OT and IT. We have our roots in OT, operational technology, or the industrial control systems. That's what we're really core good at, right? However, from the very beginning of the company, which was founded 6 years ago, the founders took the approach that this IT-OT convergence needs to have the perspective that provides information that's valuable for controls and automation engineers, and as importantly, information that can be aggregated for the IT and cybersecurity perspective for the CISO. And so we've been very careful to have an open API, a RESTful API that enables integrations to SIEMs and to the typical IT components, firewalls and what have you, that really enables full visibility and a single lens by which companies can recognize where there's correlated attacks or threats or operational anomalies correlated between IT and OT.
A very, very nice answer. One thing we're seeing, in years past, I would ask people and saying, are companies finally investing in cybersecurity? And because they weren't. Now I think everybody does, but I think there's increased concern today because of a lot of the threats we're seeing, particularly coming from the board and stuff like that. So I'm curious if you're seeing that same type of thing in your business, as well as at the same time, they're also struggling to maintain their cybersecurity. So I'm curious as to your observations of that in your business.
Yeah, so in terms of the increased awareness, certainly we're seeing, particularly over the last year, where threats such as the WannaCries and the NotPetya's and so on, that were really IT oriented, that were infecting the IT networks, as ransomware, found their way into the operational side of things, found their way into industrial control systems and really shut down production, particularly in manufacturing and batch operations, pharmaceuticals and so on, which there's some very famous cases on that front. And so that really heightened the awareness beyond the critical infrastructure industries, where there's been a growing over the last 5 years for power, for oil and gas, for transportation. Those areas where the infrastructure is critical to people's safety, that awareness has been steadily growing and has hit a height with, again, some very famous attacks on power facilities within the U.S. from Russia and so on. However, in the case of the ransomware, that really brought the attention for manufacturers because it hit their wallets, right? So when you have an auto manufacturing shop that's down, every minute is $60,000, right? In some cases, in terms of lost revenues, and so there's a recognition that cybersecurity is inherently an important aspect for uptime. As well as safety, and of course, as well as the back pocket. And so we have seen a heightened awareness, and we're seeing a lot more activity. Going into 2019, where the mainstreaming of ICS cybersecurity happened, we'll say, in 2018, primarily in the critical infrastructure, we're anticipating a lot of activity from manufacturers and increases in transportation and other verticals as we move forward.
Let me ask you specifically, given your role, about partnerships. What is your strategy at Nozomi Networks for partnerships and the process that you go through and things like that?
Absolutely.
And what partnerships are you making?
Right. So the strategy, as I mentioned earlier, we are of the point of view that the IT and OT convergence needs to happen on the security plane as well. And so having a SOC that is able to recognize correlated events and alerts that are correlated between IT and OT is very, very important. So first and foremost, our strategy as it relates to partnerships starts there. And so for the previous year, we'll say 2017 into 2018, the focus for us was really around integrating, technically mostly, with partnerships that enable that unified view. And so that's with SIMs such as IBM, QRadar, such as other security incident and event management type of offers, as well as with firewall vendors, right? That really enables that cross view, enables the ability to utilize a passive detection for a more proactive control and segregation of network activity. And so from there, moving 2018 into 2019, we just announced at the beginning of 2019 a partnership with Schneider Electric. And so while as I mentioned earlier, we have our roots in OT, and we have a really good, firm understanding of the various actors within OT and what the roles and network protocols and all that within the OT networks. This partnership that we established with Schneider Electric really firms up that tie into OT, and really with regard to Schneider, we view them as one of the more open automation vendors that is really enabling that intelligence piece of our capability, where we're able to take the integrations and the understanding, the deeper understanding we have with Schneider, and utilize that along with Schneider to better the overall environment, the overall community in its understanding of what's happening real time from an intelligence standpoint within industrial networks. So we just announced as well our new offering, which is we refer to as SCADA Guardian Advanced, the Container Edition. So containerized units of compute are the way of the future, right? In terms of how software and appliances or software, whether they're virtual or physical, or specifically in the case of the virtual appliances, how they're delivered. And those container editions, we're at the front end of that offer, and we just announced with RuggedCom, so Siemens RuggedCom, the validation of our SCADA Guardian Advanced Container Edition on the RuggedCom RX 1500 platform. And so again, another advancement on the OT side of things that's helping to bridge that IT-OT convergence. We really view our tool, SCADA Guardian, and the CMC, the Central Management Console, as an IT-OT convergence tool in many ways, because we're able to cross the heterogeneous protocols that are typical in all industrial environments and bring that back not only from a cybersecurity point of view and detecting threats and detecting anomalies and so on, but also from a process operational point of view. We're observing the traffic, and we're able to understand the process characteristics and operational characteristics in a way that helps companies, particularly the controls and automation guys, manage their business for more efficient works and for safety and for uptime.
Okay, very informative, Chet. Thank you for meeting with me today.
You bet.
We've been talking with Chet Namboodri from Nozomi Networks. Thank you for watching.